Today's Thursday, April 8th, 2021. The time is 11 a.m. This is a special meeting and an amended agenda at that to go over human resources personnel changes. Officially calling this meeting to order, attending Commissioners Duncan, Brooks, and Phillips. Do we have any changes to the agenda?
We do. A couple corrections. On item number 2, the conversion of appraiser should be from a 3 to a 1, and then there's a second position, a 2 to a 1.
The service clerk.
Nope. So it's two positions with the appraiser.
Okay.
3 total.
2 to 1.
Yeah,
Okay.
3 total on that particular item. And then on number 6, it should indicate permit technician, not plans examiner.
Okay. Mine contains the change. Okay.
Darren, do you want a motion to amend those things or just? No. Okay.
We're good? Okay. Okay, so the changes are noted. Okay, so off we go. First business item, mid-year pay increase for temporary position treasurer. Treasurer Matheson, you're up first. Go ahead, Steve.
I believe you have some of the background information. This is a temporary employee who's been working 10 years, comes in when we need her during the collections. This last year due to COVID-19 and some problems we had with our third-party processor, I asked her to come back in unscheduled, and she did that willingly. She used to work for the county for several years as a supervisor. When I looked at the actual pay per hour that she's receiving, I was embarrassed. So I'd like to increase her pay to an appropriate number, which is still below market. I am going to accommodate this increase by no budget impact. I'm simply going to reduce the number of hours that we're going to use in the June collection, because I think there's a number of reasons why we won't need her as much. So I'll stand for questions.
I'm good.
I'm good.
That's 3. You're all set.
Thank you.
Do we need a motion?
Yes, I move that we approve the pay increase for the temporary position in the treasurer's office.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan.
Aye.
Chairman Phillips.
Aye, and the motion is carried. Moving on to item number 2 for the assessor, converting appraiser 3 to a 1, a 2 to a 1, and of course we have a customer service clerk, which is a 3 to a 2. Reba, please.
Hi. Yeah, we're just trying to get some feet on the floor. We're having a hard time not advertising, but getting people in that have the qualifications to be an appraiser 2 or 3. So we're bringing the ones in and training them up. And then we also had one of our customer service clerks going to go back and be an appraiser, and she's a 3, so now we're going to hire in as a customer service clerk 2, which is all no increase.
Sure. And then later on the agenda, I think it's the last item, I'm going to be talking about moving some of these items like this to the discretion of the HR.
Excellent.
And so, but at this point, you're here, and I'm fine with it.
No issues.
Okay.
Good luck.
All right, I move that we approve the conversion for the appraiser 3 to a 1 and to a 2 to a 1, and the customer service clerk from a 3 to a 2 with the assessor's office.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan.
Aye.
Chairman Phillips.
Aye, and the motion is carried. Item 3, new temporary payroll technician position for the auditor. Dina, please.
Thank you, Commissioners. The request today is to have a temporary person through the end of this fiscal year, and then in the budget, we will be asking to convert that temp position into a full-time. It came to my attention late last week that my payroll manager is spending up to 16 hours every payroll off the clock getting deadlines met. And so having a part-time person, even a non-benefited temp person, will give great help to her. It'll also allow her to recruit and train somebody that we could eventually transition if possible.
Okay, so this is coming out of the temp pool, and we still have a few bucks left.
That's our request, yes.
Okay. Everybody good? Yeah. Go.
Good. All right, I move that we approve the temporary payroll technician position in the auditor's office from the BOCC temp pool.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan.
Aye.
Chairman Phillips.
Aye, and the motion is carried. Moving on to item 4, new part-time temporary permit technician, community development, Director Callahan. Go, David.
Commissioners, this would fill a gap we see coming with an employee that we know will be out on FMLA. And we are lucky that we have a person recently retired that used to do this job that's willing to come right back in, and that it should work seamlessly.
Okay, so this is the first of 2 requests.
3.
3 requests, okay. Any concerns? Okay,
No.
let me see, where are we? Okay. We do have a budgetary impact.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, but at this point with the fee schedule,
Yeah, that's,
hopefully
It should
they'll be-
wash out.
it should wash out, okay, fair enough. All right then, motion.
I move that we approve the new part-time temporary permit technician position in community development.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan.
Aye.
Chairman Phillips.
Aye, and the motion is carried. Item number 5, still David. New Planner 2 position for community development. Go right ahead, David. Thank you.
I wanted you to see these numbers because they're telling. If you look at the top rung where Darby, Levi, Vlad have all of these various cases, the reason why Darby and Levi, who are the newer planners, are overloaded is they're taking the easier ones. These are things like minor subdivisions and other administrative reviews that go relatively quickly, don't require the detail that you see in public hearings for rezoning, so on and so forth. I can tell you from having been a current planner myself for 12 years that if you have more than about 12 cases, you are at your wit's end. And you see what Vlad and Zach are processing now. The other telling sign, if you look below that, the number of pre-apps we've already scheduled for this year, which is 230. That's up 100 and so from this time last year. That means the planners, Zach and gang, are scheduling out as much as 2 and 3 weeks just to meet with people. And we're getting, Mary tells me, as many as 4 requests a day. Wow. To just talk. So it's fair to say the planners are their limit, and that's why we're asking for this new position. I will tell you, it feels awkward because, like the one that we'll talk about next, I have no physical space for these people. My assumption is we'll bring them in and they'll share someone's cubicle to train, and then they're going to have to work from home because there's no place. I've never experienced that myself. I mean, I've always had the luxury of an office space or a cubicle in all of my career, so I don't know how this is going to play out. It's going to be a little awkward, assuming you approve it.
So that individual is going to have to work from home.
Uh-huh.
Would it be easier if another individual who is thoroughly familiar with the process and the work were to work from home, and this individual, I don't know. I'm
Yeah,
just
it
throwing
would
out.
be, and that's my assumption
Oh,
of how we
okay.
introduce these people. Is they come in, they use Zach's workspace most of the time for a while, until we and they are comfortable, they're trained up. And presumably, we can work this out so they can come in periodically and use someone's workspace. I'm just wanting you to be prepared that I feel awkward with this.
Sure.
It's bizarre.
We may have annex space because we had some people move out and I don't think those
Yeah,
seats have been filled.
That
So
would be huge.
I will,
Leslie can check in.
actually, would you touch base with Greg?
Sure,
That would be better.
There you go.
I'd be glad to.
Okay, David. The turnaround time is still lagging, isn't it?
For
Permit app-
everything.
Yeah,
Everything.
for everything.
Yes, we are breaking the bottleneck to some degree in building permits. I think we've logged through a couple of hundred, but we still have a couple of hundred or so that it's just going to be a while.
Yeah.
Similarly, the planners at this point are so loaded up, it's going to, even with the new spot, it's going to take a while to.
Are we still operating at around 12-week
for building
turnaround?
permits. So yes, we have a number of them still hanging out there that long. And that actually is a good segue for the next spot we'll talk about. Hold that thought.
Okay. I guess we should take this one up first.
Yes, sir.
Sure.
Go right ahead.
I move that we approve the new Planner 2 position with Community Development.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan.
Aye.
Chairman Phillips.
Aye. Motion's carried. Go right ahead, David.
On the
So-
permit tech, I thought you would benefit from a little context. You wouldn't know. Permit techs are the first line of review whenever anyone gives us a building permit. They hold literally hands to make sure we get a complete application. Sometimes there's a back and forth as much as 6 or more times between the permit tech and the applicant to get a complete application. But if you look at that page I gave you, you see where Kathy, Kira, and Sally are right now today. That's how many permits they have in their queue at the moment. My preference is it'd be more like half of that. But even if we could get it down to 25% of what you see, that's manageable. And that's why we're asking for one more spot.
Okay.
What's to me difficult about this is while it's a logarithmic progression we're dealing with, along with that progression comes all of the increase of people that just don't understand and need more in-depth hand-holding.
Right.
And that then exacerbates the
Sure.
taking this in, but I wouldn't be here if we weren't sort of desperate. I think the permit techs need help so that at least we can get back to a 2 or 3 day drop-in for the average permit that's complete. Because that is usually where we are. And right now we're as much as 8 days for permit techs to get some of these things into the system.
Who was it, somebody relocated or is relocating and you were going to keep that individual on? Does that fit into this at all?
That's, I think you're thinking of one of the planners
Oh, okay, okay.
that we,
Approved a
that may be
part-time.
the ace in the hole for
Okay,
the new planner position.
Okay.
All right. So this is the permit tech.
Yeah.
Have you identified anyone?
No. Oh, well, I didn't know that.
I'm sorry?
John says we have. I didn't know. I take it back. It just came to me. Julia, the front counter, is interested,
Oh,
and she would be good.
okay.
And then, because it's always easier to find a receptionist.
Okay.
She's been here long enough. She knows a lot of what the permit techs do.
Okay.
And so, thanks, John. I've completely spaced it. So yes, I think this could be a seamless promotion from within, and that would save a lot of time.
And then you'd have to backfill her position.
Yes, but it's a lot easier to find a receptionist, in our experience, than any of our other positions.
Okay. So then the next quarter would include April, May, and June, correct? So David, in July, can I have a little bit more of a breakdown about kind of the progression of you had this many people, now you have this many people, then you had this many people, and where our revenues are tracking with the addition of the bodies? That just would be
I think that'd
helpful.
be-
Yeah.
Sure,
So
that makes sense.
we'll expect that in July.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it'd be good to have, I'd like to see where we are.
Yeah.
And especially with the increased fees. Okay. Motion?
I move that we approve the new permit technician position in community development.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan.
Aye.
Chairman Phillips.
Aye, and the motion is carried.
Thank you,
Thank
Commissioners.
you, David. Yeah. Okay. Welcome to growth. Okay. Item number 7, position adjustments, prosecutor. Prosecutor McHugh, Barry, it's yours.
Morning, Commissioners. So this request is just to shift some money around within budget. I've got 2 positions, one of which is an attorney position responsible for a lot of the work in the Renfro case, and I'd like to bump up her salary as indicated. to reflect that additional responsibility that she's taken on. And then the other request is to bump up a legal secretary to a legal assistant position with the move to the, I think it's towards the bottom of the range, if not the bottom of the range of that, for that position. And so that money would be taken from the position that we have pending to hire as an AT4. We promoted somebody from AT3 into that AT4 position, and then we're going to hire the AT3, and we'll just be capped at the number of, or the dollars that will be available for that particular position when we hire it.
Okay.
So ongoing for FY '22, is this going to bump up your starting numbers?
Shouldn't.
Shouldn't? Okay. And then if somebody's going from a legal secretary to legal assistant, is the legal assistant an open position, or now you won't have that legal secretary position anymore?
The latter. We won't have that legal secretary position.
Okay, so
And
you're not going to backfill?
no, we're just converting it from one position to
Okay.
another because the responsibilities are more consistent with the legal assistant
Legal assistant.
work that's
Okay.
being done.
So then this is another one of those situations that we're approving the up because it's more money, but if he comes back and says, I need that legal secretary position back and I'm getting rid of the new legal assistant, then I think that's appropriate for HR and not necessarily a board issue. So that, I just want to point out another example so we have stuff to talk about at the end of the meeting. So.
I understand.
Okay. Yep, and so we really don't have a budgetary impact here.
No.
Okay. Real motion?
I move that we approve the position adjustments outlined by the prosecutor for the three positions indicated.
I second the motion.
Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan.
Aye.
Chairman Phillips.
Aye, motion is carried. Thank you,
Thank you,
Barry.
Commissioners.
Item number 8, initial reclassification results, Safety and Environmental Specialist, HR.
So number
Kim.
8 and number 9 are really grouped. It's because it's a board department that we agendize them separately. But the safety and recycling coordinator went through the reclassification process. The new title is safety and environmental specialist. It went up 1 grade from a 7 to an 8. And we're bringing those results to you to notify you and to approve the new grade.
Okay, so we can just handle it as one motion. We don't need two separate.
Yeah, we can
Okay.
combine the two. Okay, great. Any questions for Kim? Motion.
I move that we approve the initial reclassification results and adopt the new grade for the safety and environmental specialist.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan.
Aye.
Chairman Phillips.
Aye, and 8 and 9 motion is combined is accepted or approved. Okay, so now we have item 10, request for reclassification, increase for the safety and environmental specialist for solid waste. Go ahead, Kim. Oh, JP, go right ahead.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Thank you for having me. JP or John Phillips for the record. In regard to the previous discussion about the restructuring of the solid waste position from safety and environmental specialist to this new position, the employee has been found to already be performing the essential functions of the new position. So the solid waste department requests that the board authorize the reclassification with the pay increase as of April 11th, 2021, or the beginning of pay period 9, as recommended by the HR department. Following the county standard, the employee's pay would be set at the same % of market within the new grade. This would amount to moving the employee's wage from $22.2055 per hour to $23.8896 per hour, which would maintain the 97% of market. This increase would be covered by allocated funds from personnel within this current budget. No impact to the budget would occur.
Okay, interesting. How long has this employee been with us, do you know?
The employee's been with us for, I want to say, close to 10 years, but she was in another grade, like was an environmental technician before taking this position, but she's been in this position, I would say, for 4 or 5 years.
Okay, good. Just curious. Any questions for JP? Are we good?
Yep.
Motion.
I move that we approve the request for reclassification increase for the safety and environmental specialist position.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan.
Aye.
Chairman Philios.
Aye, motion is carried. Thank you, JP. Item 11, Position Conversion Authority, BOCC.
So, we've just been slammed with all these different requests, and I think that there's some requests that HR can handle on their own that does not have a budgetary impact. So, for instance, the conversions that we just handled today, all those conversions were taking a higher position, putting them into a lower position so the assessor can hire. And there's no budgetary impact. So I would suggest that this board authorize the HR to make those administrative decisions for downgrades. They would still submit a memo to us along with the PAF maybe. And then they can also handle the upgrades with the same thing. So let's say today we approved the conversion of the appraiser 3 to a 1. Well, guess
go ahead.
what? A 2 applies. Then HR should be able to say, okay, it's budgeted as a 3, we can move it to a 2 administratively, because there's no budgetary impact. But if it was budgeted at the beginning of the fiscal year as a 1, then that needs to come before the board, because that's a budgetary
Because
impact.
that's a budgetary impact.
Yeah, net increases, right.
So bottom line, level change, no budgetary impact, HR can handle. Is that a fair statement?
We
Okay,
we
go
would
ahead.
love to. So my question is, in order to put it somewhere where you're aware of it, would you like it on the consent calendar with a
Along
note?
with the PAF, yeah.
With the
So it
PAF.
could just be a
Okay.
memo or a spreadsheet or whatever it is.
Do you want a projection with it as well to prove that it's within? Because I would have to ask for one anyway, to verify with the auditor's office that it was.
Sure. Sure, we can. Then that validates. Right. Okay.
Yeah, that's not our
Yeah.
lane.
Yeah, then that's fine. I'm just trying to take more off of our plates that seem rubber stamp. I mean, why would I tell the assessor, no, you can't change a 3 from a 1, and then the position remains open for 9 months because there are no 3s applying? So that's just kind of where I was coming from.
You know, and we're able to do this. I mean, it's an administrative change. It doesn't in any way impact our budgetary authority, which is a statutory responsibility that we have, so we're not shirking that. So yeah, it makes good sense. I'm fine. Bill?
Just fine.
Okay, motion. Should we?
I s-
Darren?
Okay,
It's board direction. Fair enough.
take
You
the
got it.
direction. Okay, Sylvia.
So what I will do is we'll update the personnel matrix guideline because it indicates on position conversions. The auditor's projection we would leave there.
Okay.
It wouldn't have to come before an open meeting.
Right.
And then we would put it on the consent calendar, the guidance you gave us.
Yes, that would be great. Thank you.
Cool. All right, then. Public comment. Hearing none. 11:25, meeting adjourned. Thank you.